Welcome to the 2022 Spring California Department of Tax and Fee Administration's virtual open house. On behalf of the Cdtfa, I am highly excited that all of you have joined us for our virtual open house today. Now, the essential point of this morning's virtual open house is twofold. We want to convey to you as team members of the Cdtfa, we want you to have a firm understanding of why the Cdtfa is our employer of choice. And by way of that, we hope you're of choice. And by way of that, we hope you will come to see the Cdtfa as your employer of choice. Now, in hearing from us, you'll do that in a variety of ways this morning. Not only will we audibly, verbally tell you about our journeys, our experiences, how we have come to experience life as a Cdtfa team member, but we will also help you to visualize it. Oftentimes the mind can go only as far as the eyes can see. So we will also show you two videos this morning. The first one we'll get to in a moment. But as you hear a variety of team members relay their experiences, their journeys, what brought them to the Cdtfa, how they have experienced the Cdtfa, and how as an agency, the Cdtfa has enabled them to achieve personal, private successes and prioritize their personal lives. As you listen to those things, there are certain themes that will naturally come up. Some of those themes I will mention in a moment, but I want you to keep this in mind. As you meet the various team members, keep this in mind about the Cdtfa. Not only do we want you to bring your authentic self as a team member to this agency, to this organization, and you should be your authentic self in essentially every context. But not only do we want you to bring your authentic self, we want you to bring your full or whole self. As a team member at the Cdtfa, I can say this to lay the cards on the table. I don't look at my life as professional, there's a chasm, and then personal. As a Cdtfa team member, this organization has enabled me to make a prioritized list in my personal life and achieve the goals that are on that list. There is a work-life balance, but more so than that phraseology, understand that I can bring my full self to the office or to my kitchen table every morning, since many of us are still at home, but I can bring my full self to the agency, knowing that professionally and personally, the Cdtfa enables me to achieve in both areas. There's no chasm, no distinction whereby I have to divide myself. So as these themes come up this morning, as you're listening to everyone's experience, keep that at the forefront of your mind. Lean into who you are as a potential team member. Take ownership of all of the parts that are you. Be authentic and be your whole self. Now, those themes that you'll hear, some will be on-the-job training, promotional opportunities. The Cdtfa has a very important mentorship program. Along with that, the Cdtfa is concerned about creating a skilled, motivated, inclusive team. And let me stop for a second. When I say inclusive, I mean this. So very often, organizations discuss diversity, and you will oftentimes hear the word inclusion. Not only is the Cdtfa concerned about gaining a diversity of opinion, skill set, background, experiences, creativity, the diversity that the naked eye cannot see. But the Cdtfa is focused, strategic about achieving the diversity that the naked eye can see. We don't want to master one without mastering both. So please keep that in mind. We want a skilled, motivated, inclusive workforce to represent the totality of California in all of its diversity and variety. The Cdtfa also puts a premium on creativity and innovation And this next one is really important. Another theme that you will hear, something I've seen firsthand many times. The Cdtfa has commitment to serving the local communities that surround the local Cdtfa offices. We're actually involved in the broader communities that we all work and live in, and that is critically important. We're not separate, but a part of and involved in those communities. So those are some of the themes that you will hear as Cdtfa team members introduce themselves to you. But at the same time, we want to hear from you. We must hear from you. And that's a part of the excitement of this morning. So we're here from you in two ways. As we walk through this morning's virtual open house, as each team member introduces themselves to you, we want you, as questions arise in your mind, as you're getting a firmer feel for the Cdtfa, we want you to email questions in. Any and everything that comes to the fore of your mind, any question, do me a favor, email that question in, and later on this morning, those questions will be addressed. The email address is recruitment, take this down, recruitment at cdtfa.ca.gov. One more time, that is recruitment at cdtfa.ca.gov. That's one part of how we're going to interact with you, how we will listen to you. The second part, the other part of that interaction is towards the end of the open house, and this is extremely important, there will be a variety of breakout sessions. This is where the main interaction between all of you and Cdtfa team members will take place. You will get to pose questions. You will get to reflect. You will hear live answers from the team members. Now, two of the breakout sessions, I'll highlight two of them. One, interview tips, critically important. And the other is, how do I apply? It can be a daunting task to apply for a job with any state. So we wanted to focus in on that for one of our breakout sessions. So towards the bottom of your screen, you should see links to each breakout session. I encourage everyone who's joined us this morning, in order to make sure you get the full of what the Cdtfa offers you this morning, please join those breakout sessions. Now, with all of that said, earlier I stated that we are going to show you a couple videos. The first video is going to nutshell what the Cdtfa does, our function and our commitment. And after that, I will introduce the first team member that you will hear from. But pay close attention to this first video. It's called We Are Committed. Let's roll that video.
The California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, Cdtfa, administers 37 taxes and fees. We handle sales and use tax and special taxes and fees, which include collections for alcoholic beverages, tobacco, cannabis, fuel, waste, and special environmental programs. We collect approximately $75 billion annually. This revenue supports local essential services throughout California: transportation, public safety and health, libraries, schools, social services, your environment, your community. We're in this together.
I hope that first video gave you a small taste of the function and commitment to the state of California that is the Cdtfa. And I hope it whet your appetite a little, because later on we'll come to the topic of the statewide positions that the agency has available. More about that later. Let me begin to introduce the first team member that you will meet. Let me say this about leadership. Leadership sets forth a vision, and within that vision, leadership also sets forth priorities. Some of those themes that I mentioned to y'all earlier: skilled, motivated, inclusive workforce, creativity, making sure that you bring your authentic and your full selves to work. Those are priorities that the Cdtfa has set in place by way of this first team member. You could say it's his personal touch and commitment as the captain at the helm of the ship. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have the Director of the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. The floor is yours, Mr. Nick Maduros. Take it away, sir.
Hey, thank you so much, Andre. I don't know if I can live up to that billing there, but I just want to take a couple of minutes here on the top to welcome everybody to today's virtual open house. I hope someday we'll be able to get back to in-person open houses. As you can see, I'm still working at home, although I'm in the office more and more. Just a couple of things about Cdtfa, where I've been the director now for almost 5 years. As Andre said, it's a fantastic place to work, great team members, and we're all together. It's not just me. Together, we're trying to build a culture where people like to come to work, where people build, it's not just a job, it's a chance for a real career. With training, we're willing to invest in our team members because we know that, the return on that investment is manyfold for the state of California. And one thing, I know everybody on here's got a choice of lots of different career opportunities. So a couple of things that I would stress as you're thinking about what direction to go in your own lives. And the first is choosing something that's really meaningful, because as you can probably see from all my gray hair, I've been working for a long time, and I've had jobs where I really felt like I was making a difference, and I've had some jobs where I haven't felt that way. And there are going to be days when you frankly don't feel like working. Wherever you work, whether it's at Cdtfa or somewhere else, there are going to be days when you'd rather pull the covers over your head and keep sleeping. And for me, at least, it makes such a big difference knowing how important the work is, because we all have those days. And at Cdtfa, we are doing the essential work on behalf of the state of California to collect the revenue that pays for schools and police and fire and healthcare and parks and libraries and all of the things that we as Californians value and that make us really a special place to live, and that make us a society and not just a bunch of random strangers crowded together on this piece of land. And I would just encourage you to think about that. And it really is a fantastic feeling to know you're making such a big difference for your neighbors and your communities. And the second thing, as Andre said, is, think about a place where you can be yourself and be successful as yourself. And we have placed a big emphasis on that over the last 5 years. And it's gratifying to see so many people finding that success, finding a place where they can be at home and build careers without having to sort of hide who it is they are. Because I think a lot of times, especially early in our careers, and I certainly was probably in this boat, a lot of people think they've got to be some, we've all watched thousands of hours of television by the time we get to our first jobs, and think that we've got to be some idealized version of what it is to be professional. And I'm not saying we want you to be unprofessional at work, but you shouldn't have to be somebody different at work than who you are away from work, because when you bring your whole self to work, as Andre said, I think we need all of your talents and all of your life experience. And we think that's going to make us stronger as a department and make us better able to serve the people of California. Anyway, with that, I will turn it back over, but I just want to thank you again for taking the time to join us this morning and to encourage you to apply. It's really a great place to work, great teams, great training, and a great opportunity to build a career here in the state of California, doing something meaningful. Anyway, with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Andre. Is that right?
Thank you, Nick. Wonderful, broad understanding of the purpose and the personality of the Cdtfa. And as I listened to the director, certain things came back to mind. The themes that I had just mentioned. He talked about being your authentic self and your full self in particular, and how that enables you to put your skill set really on the table when you lean into who you are, when you take ownership of all of the parts of you. That allows whatever context you're in and you to utilize the skills, the creativity, the innovation that you bring to the table. So thank you for those comments, Nick. And with respect to myself personally, why is the Cdtfa my employer of choice? You have job stability, you have a set schedule, but those two things really point to something else. And it's something that I referred to earlier. It's a theme that you will hear time and again. And what it points to is the work-life balance, but to say it in a more exacting way, what it points to is how you're able to prioritize your personal life, how you're able to understand that your personal life isn't something wholly separate from your professional, but your professional life backs up your personal life. You're then able to focus on it and prioritize those things away from the office that will enable you to be your best self at the office. So that's extremely important to me. Something else very important to me. And at this stage in my life, I want to be somewhere where this takes place. And that's talk of diversity, but even more so the word we don't hear very often, inclusion. When I said that we want a skilled, motivated, inclusive team, those weren't just words. As you can see, by way of the naked eye, as you meet team member to team member, inclusion is actually important in word and deed to the Cdtfa. I want to be somewhere where I am seen, where I am heard. And for the Cdtfa, that translates into, as I've stated earlier, representing the totality of California in all of its diversity, making sure that that range of diversity feels included in the Cdtfa. So for all of those reasons and others, this is my employer of choice. Now, let's move to meeting our next team member. And before I introduce her, keep in mind, please email your questions to recruitment@cdtfa.ca.gov. We want to hear from you. We need to hear from you. And keep in mind joining the breakout sessions later on. This next team member, she is a tax compliance supervisor, and she's going to walk us through her journey of how the Cdtfa works for her. You could say it's how she has experienced life as a Cdtfa team member. Alicia Gibson, the floor is yours. Tell us how the Cdtfa personally works for you.
Man, thank you, Andre. Oh, I just want you guys to know that today is a very special day. You are not here on accident. This is going to be an amazing experience if you take the time to listen to what everyone has to say, stay for those breakout sessions, because today may change the rest of your life. I started at the Cdtfa, I'm not going to say what year, because it was a long time ago, but as a business taxes representative. And since then, I have had such an adventure working for this agency. One of the things that I love the most about it is not just our director, who you just saw, or Andre, because that's really important to have that kind of leadership. But the most important thing for me is the people. People like you. And that's why we're here today, because we need more people like us to represent the state of California. One of the things that I really enjoy about it, besides the people, are three different things. The first thing is what we call the money, right? The money is great. The second thing has to do with mobility. Mobility for us means that, right now I'm in the Santa Clarita office, but I work out of Sacramento. There's so many opportunities to work in any office that you choose. And before, 5 or 10 years ago, you didn't have those same things. So you got the money, you have the mobility to move from positions to different offices. But the third thing is the memories. And that's the one thing that Andre was kind of referencing is, that work-life balance. Not only memories that you create, with your co-workers when we're in the office, with our different potlucks and stuff, but also the memories you're able to take or do because of all the benefits that we have, because you're able to take those vacations with your family. For instance, my sister's lives in England, and I'm going to go spend 2 weeks this year visiting her in England because we have those type of opportunities. I love this job so much that sometimes that I forget it's work. And I think that's the kind of place that you guys want to come to, a place where not only do they have, great benefits, but a place where, one, you could be your authentic self, but two, where you really feel like what you do matters and that the people around you care about you. So stay tuned for everything that we have in store. We appreciate you coming out today, this Friday, and back to you, Andre.
Thank you, Alicia, so very much. And I chuckled as I listened to your comments because it hit me. And I thought, that's so very true. When Alicia stated, this could change your life, it made me think of this. Every team member that you're going to meet, we all have the skill set, the intellect, the creativity, the experience to be somewhere else. But the choice that we make on a day-to-day basis is to be a Cdtfa team member. And making that active, that willful choice says a tremendous amount about what the Cdtfa allows us to achieve and what it enables us to achieve professionally and personally. So, Alicia, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said this could be life-changing, and it's not an accident that some of you are on this virtual open house. So thank you so very much, Alicia. Greatly appreciate you conveying how the Cdtfa has affected you personally. The next team member that you will meet, he is a business taxes administrator. His name is Stephen Ho. He will introduce his team as well, and he's going to walk us through the immensely important statewide positions. I know so many of you have tuned in to hear about that. He will relay the statewide positions that are available and walk us through in brief those positions. Stephen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andre. So yeah, a little bit about myself. My name is Stephen Ho. I've been with the Cdtfa for about 8 years now. I'm a business taxes administrator 1, which is pretty much a fancy way of saying that I'm a supervisor here at the Sacramento field office. So I'm going to talk about statewide hiring and then have some questions for some of our newer team members. Currently, we're hiring statewide for business tax representative and tax auditor positions. Business tax representative, we call them BTRs just in case you hear them throughout our presentation, and tax auditors, we may refer to them as TAs. So you have the option of choosing to work from any one of our 23 offices statewide. Our office furthest north would be Reading, and we have our office furthest south is in El Centro. We've been mainly teleworking since the pandemic. Eventually we'll go back to the offices and telework right around 50% of the time. The tax auditors a little bit more depending on, if they have needs or wants to come into the office a little bit more often. So these positions already posted on March 22nd. Final filing date is May 3rd. So please make sure you get your applications in before that time, just in case you have any last minute challenges you may need to overcome. So please be aware that there are multiple business tax representative and tax auditor postings. So choose the one that says United States as a location, as we're going to show on the screen here. You have salary information on there, but again, it's important. We're going to have multiple business tax representative and tax auditor postings. You want to make sure that the location says United States as shown on the screen. So thank you for that. If you are selected for an interview, please expect the interviews to be around May 25th. Offers are going to be towards the end of July, and start date should be right around the beginning of August. So right now we have some team members who've recently gone through this hiring process. I'll introduce them and then we'll ask them a couple of questions so you guys can get a little bit of feel for, what they've been through so far. So on the screen, we'll have Melissa Rodriguez, John Sue, and Kaylin Johnson. Melissa, will you please raise your hand, please? That she is, she's a tax auditor, been here for almost a year at the Cerrito office. John, will you raise your hand, please? Been here for almost 2 years as a tax auditor, also in the San Diego office. And then Kaylin has been here for almost 2 years also, I think, in the Culver City office. So I'll ask each of them a question. Melissa, could you give us your experience so far as a new tax auditor?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I started recruiting with Cdtfa in college. I studied accounting at a local university, and there I participated in multiple school programs and held part-time jobs. I was a member of the university's accounting society, and Cdtfa would often recruit at the recruiting events at the university. When I graduated, Cdtfa was promoting a statewide hiring. I sought a fulfilling career with an employer that supports public services and recognizes work-life balance. During my recruitment with Cdtfa, I attended multiple information sessions and explored available resources to learn more about this agency. I also attended virtual open houses and learned a lot of insightful information on how to apply to the job openings. After learning from the Cdtfa team members, I applied multiple job postings, such as the BTR position and the ETA position. And after some time passed, I joined Cdtfa as a tax auditor.
Cool. Thank you. John, could you tell us about your experience so far for these last almost 2 years?
Yeah, so I came in and it was a very great experience. The onboarding was very well established and my training, I was worried that when I came in, my training I wouldn't know what to do, right? It's a new job, new position. I didn't know anything about sales and use tax. But the onboarding program and the training, the mentorship was really great. I didn't feel as though I was out of place. And, it was just a great learning experience, and especially transitioning into a new job. It was, really great to feel that they have already planned everything for me for the next 6 months. And, and everyone's very helpful. You can reach out to my mentor or my supervisor or even colleagues. They would, give you a helping hand, tips, and just so willing to help you progress and succeed in your job, in your position.
Nice. And so we'll give you a business tax representative's point of view. Kaylin, can you tell us about your experience so far?
Yes, my experience, honestly, with the Cdtfa has been nothing but smiles. First day that I got hired, I was presented with a sign with my name on it. And I know my name is Kaylin. Some people might not know if it's a boy or a girl. They had butterflies all over it. But the welcoming into the agency and the department was very welcoming and warming. Also, just me coming from a private sector job is very different coming into a job that you can actually have flexibility, mobility, somebody actually training you. I could call somebody from Culver City office to Sacramento just for any help and guidance with anything. So I personally, the Cdtfa has been a wonderful experience.
Cool. So we got one more question. Melissa, what advice or tips do you have for like the newer people here for the newer people who's attending here that's trying to apply?
Yes. I recommend applicants to review the job duty statement and tailor their application to include all the relatable experiences. For an example, I was a member of an accounting society at university, and I was able to learn about different functions of the organization and work together with other accounting members to accomplish our common goal of learning more about accounting and serving our community. Also, I volunteered in a university's program that prepared income tax returns for community members. Through this program, I learned more about income taxes while serving my community. I hope to encourage everyone who applies to include all of their relatable experiences.
Thank you. John, what's the most exciting thing or surprising thing in this career so far?
For me, the most exciting thing is actually going out in the field. Being a tax auditor, you actually get to visit the job site, meet the taxpayers in person. It was kind of hard during the pandemic, but I mean, I assume that it's going to be more more in line with that and actually being able to, meet more of them instead of just talking to them over the phone. But, doing all the testing and everything has really been a great learning experience. And it's actually great to leave the house. So, it's kind of nice.
Nice. And then, Kaylin, what type of apprehensions did you have before applying, and like how did that turn out?
Some of the apprehensions that I had was the fear of getting the interview and just being overlooked with my application. But just speaking with Cdtfa members and, like Melissa said, making sure your resume is tailored, I was more confident. And then when my interview came about, I actually had 3 interviews. So each interview was able to help build me into getting over those jitters, knowing that I'm talking to people just like me and they want to see me go to a higher opportunity and just help me feel comfortable.
Nice. Thank you all for your insight and your advices. We're going to transition back to Andre, but just to recap, make sure you guys are applying. The final filing date is on May 3rd. And again, if you have any questions, make sure you email that recruitment email and then we'll try to answer them at the end. Andre, back to you.
Melissa, John, Stephen, Kaylin, thank you for relaying your experience of the Cdtfa. And as I listened, as everyone else did, to you sharing your experience, certain things came to mind. The inclusiveness. You essentially said you felt seen, heard immediately when you became a member of the team. I would love to say that reality is reality at every organization. We know, let's be real, y'all, we know that's not the case. So to hear that from someone's personal journey as a highlight of their experience is refreshing, heartening, and encouraging. So thank you for relaying your journeys and for the critical information, Stephen, regarding the statewide positions, business tax representative and tax auditor that we have open. Now, let's meet some more Cdtfa team members. These next 2 team members, the first one is Stephanie Tolman. She is a business taxes representative, and Sam Nasser. He is a tax auditor. So let's bring them on board and we're going to hear from them. I have a couple questions for both of you. Stephanie, my first question is for you. As a business tax auditor, describe what a day is in the regular course of your employment at the Cdtfa. Day in the life of, really. What are your experiences on a random day?
Sure. So a day in the life of a business tax representative is assisting the public. We refer to the public as our taxpayers, so business owners that come in that need some assistance with their online account. We will assist them either over the phone or in person. We'll help file their returns. Sometimes people cannot pay their account balances in full, so they will contact us to somehow set up some payment arrangements. We refer to it as payment plans. Sometimes people don't comply with the state laws, so we do have to enforce collection action, and you get training on what you do with those accounts. And you also have, trainers that's in the office that would train you on how to clear those accounts. And also going out in the field. So sometimes, you try and get voluntary compliance by calling, sending letters, but sometimes you do have to go out in the field, show your presence, and do it that way. So that's a day in the life of a business tax representative.
Thank you, Stephanie. And there's a question I'm going to keep in my mind for a second. Listening to what you said, it sounded as if there's some excitement to your position. I'm going to come back to you and I want to feed off of the excitement that I sense from what you said. But Sam, thank you, my friend, for joining us. As a tax auditor, essentially the same question. A day in the life of, what is your daily experience in your position?
Well, typical day as a tax auditor isn't so typical. I mean, your job as an auditor is to audit different types of businesses for sales and use tax. So I'm auditing a large array of retail businesses. It could go from liquor store, grocery store, clothing store. And my job as a tax auditor is to make sure that what they've reported to the agency is showing of their books and records. So as a tax auditor, I'm setting up appointments. I'm going out to the field. I'm going to these businesses. I'm meeting with taxpayers. I'm reviewing their books and records there. So pre-pandemic, we would do it there. But now due to the pandemic, I would take the books and records back to the office or and review and input all that data that I've collected and make sure that it reconciles with what's been reported to the agency. And as a tax auditor, it's also your job to educate these taxpayers. I mean, a lot of these people that we're auditing are new business tax owners, and they honestly have no clue what they're doing when it comes to reporting. So it's our job to kind of educate them on the correct reporting to the agency and to make sure that they're better off from when you leave off, pointing them in the right direction moving forward.
Thank you, Sam. So it sounds like, tell me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you deal in a lot of detail, a lot of, for lack of a better word, the fine print. I want to keep that in mind. I'm going to come back to you in a moment. Stephanie, back to that excitement that I felt from what you said. I got a question for you.
Yes.
What's the best thing for you personally about working for the Cdtfa, about being a part of this team?
You know, I'd have to say there's two things. One is...
Okay, give us two.
One is being able to work from home. I know prior to COVID, we used to have to work in the office 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 o'clock. Now that the pandemic happened, it shifted everything, right? So we're now able to work from home. We're actually starting to go back into the office a few days out of the week, but the future of this agency is more of a hybrid, so I think that's a really good thing about it now. The second thing is promotional opportunities. I'll kind of give you some of my background here personally. I started as an office technician and I worked my way up to a business tax representative. I then promoted to a business tax compliance specialist, and today I am a compliance supervisor. So I did all of that in 9 years, and you know, I'm only going up from here. So the fact that those opportunities are here, it's just the best. I don't know where else I would be at.
Thank you, Stephanie. I love it when I get two good answers to one question. I appreciate that. Now, Sam, detail, fine print. In your position, what's the skill set? What are the essential qualities that the prospective team members that have tuned in, what's the skill set they need to bring to the table to be a tax auditor?
The important skill set, I would say, a big one would be communication skills. I mean, you have to be able to communicate well with the taxpayers. Dealing with being in California and being one of the most diverse states in the country, you're dealing with people from all walks of life. So you have to be able to make sure your taxpayer understands the message that you're relaying to them. You have to be a team player in that there are times where other auditors may need your help with an audit. So you have to be a good team player, have a good work ethic. Like Stephanie said earlier, she got promoted 5 times, and I believe it's because of that good work ethic that she has. And it's important to be punctual. As a tax auditor, you have anywhere from 8 to 20 cases at any given time, and you might have 3 appointments that day, and you want to be able to schedule, you want to have good time management, because remember, these are business owners, their time is important. So if your appointment's at 8, you want to be there at 7:55, that way you're not wasting their time, so they could go back to doing what they do. So yeah, you have to be able to multitask, right? Like I said, you're dealing with 8 to 20 cases, so you're working on this audit 1 second, then you're jumping onto the other one to finish this one. You're starting an audit, you're in the middle of an audit here, you're finishing an audit here. So you have to be able to multitask. I think those are pretty much the top key skill sets for a tax auditor.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Sam. It sounds like your skill sets are fully engaged.
Absolutely.
Regularly. a day in the life of on a day-to-day basis. So thank you to both of you for joining us and relaying those answers. So I hope everyone who's tuned in, as you listen to Stephanie, as you listen to Sam relay their experience on a random day at the Cdtfa as team members, that should spur more questions on in your mind. So again, email those questions to recruitment@cdtfa.ca.gov. Let us hear from you. Give us the chance to fill in the gaps regarding your understanding of the Cdtfa. Next up, we have a video. One of the themes that I spoke about earlier, one of the commitments that you'll hear about is the Cdtfa's commitment to being involved in the local communities that surround the local Cdtfa offices. I've been involved in that personally. I've seen it year after year. This next video, called Positive Work, will highlight how we are not only in the community, but actually involved in the community, helping all of us move forward. So let's cue the video, Positive Work.
We work smart, in tandem contributing our best to every program. We host executive leadership development programs that focus on communication and accountability. Cdtfa offers training, encourages partnerships, and celebrates our diversity.
Our Diversity Inclusion Office is committed to attaining a diverse workforce representative of California's labor force and promotes a positive work environment.
Being given the opportunity to be a part of a diversity and inclusion celebration subcommittee has allowed for me to share my passion and dedication about finding common connections and learning from one another.
It is not only knowing one another's uniqueness, but also taking action with that knowledge.
Our team members are actively involved in food drives, supporting veterans, and helping local services.
Cdtfa, making life better for California today.
Fantastic video, and once again, I hope that helps you to visualize another function of the Cdtfa as we live within the communities that we serve. Now, as we transition to meeting more team members, remember, we have business tax representative, that position is available, and tax auditor. But not only do we have those positions available, we likewise have a diverse range of positions that are available. So we're looking for, as I've stated earlier, an inclusive but also a diverse workforce with respect to experience and skill set. So we're going to bring on two team members. The first represents our customer service division. She is a staff services manager, and she's going to walk us through what is actually, honestly, a critically important part of the Cdtfa. You could say it's the front line in many respects for the Cdtfa, the triage, so to speak. The first one will be Miriam Dominguez. Miriam, come on board and relay to us the availability in customer service and describe to us how that's at the heart of the Cdtfa.
Thank you, Andre. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miriam Dominguez, and I'm a staff services manager with the Customer Service Center. Now, before I go into the positions that we have available, let me tell you a little bit about our department. The Customer Service Center is an inbound call center. We answer phone calls received from our 1-800 phone number and assist customers with our online services, such as registering for seller's permits, filing their sales and use tax returns. We also answer general questions regarding all of the tax and fee programs that Cdtfa administers. The Customer Service Center also has a very intense training program that goes on for 4 to 6 weeks. Currently, it is conducted in a classroom setting led by one of our trainers. It also includes a shadowing component where you're paired with a seasoned tax technician. Once training is complete and you are released from training, there are resources available to help you succeed in your position. We have an assistance line where we have trainers available to assist you. If you have any questions while you're on the live phone call, Cdtfa also has an upward mobility program that many of our team members take advantage of. Through this program, Cdtfa reimburses the cost of tuition and books for those courses required for the business taxes representative and tax auditor positions. Ultimately, the knowledge and experience gained at the Customer Service Center as a tax technician makes our team members highly sought after throughout the agency. Many move up very quickly. Currently, we do have multiple Tax Technician 1 positions available. The minimum qualifications for this position is the equivalent of a high school diploma. It is a great opportunity to get your foot in the door and take advantage of our on-the-job training and upward mobility program to move up in your career. Now, if you have any questions or would like to know more about this position, please reach out to us through our recruitment inbox. Now, with that said, I will pass it back to Andre.
Thank you, Miriam, for relaying what you described so accurately as a position where you can get your foot in the door. If at this moment your skill set leans more towards customer service and the customer service center, that's a fantastic place to start and become a member of our team. Now, the next person, Dalia Martinez. She represents the Internal Audit Bureau of the Cdtfa. It's an inner apparatus which ensures that we are efficient and in compliance, as every state organization needs to be. So if you have a skill set that lends itself to processes, to internal matters of efficiency, to risk management, listen to Dalia. Lean in, as it were. So Dalia, please come on board and relay to us those details about the Internal Audit Bureau to fill our audience in. Take it away.
Thank you, Andre. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dalia Martinez, and I am the Internal Audit Supervisor. If audit is of interest to you, but you're not sure if you want to be a field auditor, then internal audit might be a good fit for you. So what do? Internal audit adds value to the department by providing quality auditing, consulting, and risk management services while working with management to evaluate controls, identify risks, streamline processes, and provide sustainable recommendations. We ensure Cdtfa is performing functions in compliance with policies and procedures, as Andre mentioned. So what kind of audits do we work on? Well, we perform compliance, operational, performance, financial, and IT audits. We're a small internal audit shop of 12 auditors. We are a close-knit group that likes to bounce ideas off of each other. We enjoy working together, and believe it or not, we actually really do have a lot of fun. So now, a day in the life of an internal auditor. Every day varies, but that is the fun part about being an auditor. So what will your day include? It could include conducting research, which may include conducting and gathering work charts, learning about the tax programs, checking to see if there are any performance measures in place, checking prior internal and external audits, using procedures and manuals to create process flowcharts, documenting your interviews or process walkthroughs. You may be testing a sample of data in the morning and then meeting with the business area in the afternoon to discuss any discrepancies. So now, are we hiring? Yes, we are. We will be posting a tax auditor position next week. So if you want to be challenged, have strong communication skills, both writing and verbal, and critical thinking skills, then internal audit might be a good fit for you. Let me know if you are interested or have any questions. Please feel free to reach out and I can provide you with any more information. And now back to Andre.
Thank you, Dalia. And when you said bouncing ideas off of each other, that reminded me of what I've heard on multiple occasions during the virtual open house: innovation, creativity. So if your skill set lends you to that, then please look at internal audit. So keep in mind, it's not simply business taxes representative and tax auditor, but a range of positions that we have available here at the Cdtfa. So we're looking for a range of skill sets to bring into the team. Once again, as I've said before, recruitment at cdtfa.ca.gov. Email your questions into us by way of that email address. Give us the chance to hear from you. And there will be more interaction when the breakout sessions take place. As I've stated, highlighting two of the breakout sessions, how do I apply, which can be a daunting task from first impression, and interview tips, immensely important. Now, as I said at the outset, the point of this virtual open house is for us to convey to you, and we hope you understand it as relaying to you individually, why the Cdtfa is our employer of choice. And a different way for me to say that, as I've listened to my team members, is the Cdtfa is structured so that you're enabled to prioritize your personal life. That is extremely important. As I've said earlier, as Nick Maduros, the director, and others have relayed, we want you to bring your full self to work, and the Cdtfa is structured so that you can do that. Now, we come to an extremely important section as we meet the next two team members here at the Cdtfa. We've come to the section called, how do I get my career started with the Cdtfa? We understand it's a state agency. The task can seem daunting by way of first appearance. So we're going to have these two team members walk us through that process, audibly and visually. The first team member, Irene Chang, as well as Carla Ramos. Irene is a business taxes specialist, and Carla is a business taxes compliance specialist. So Irene, Carla, come on board and walk us through, how do you get this great life at the Cdtfa, which it is, started?
Thank you so much, Andre. Well, to get started, good afternoon, everyone. It's sunny in San Jose. The sun finally came out, so it's going to be awesome today, and the crowd looks amazing. To get started, my name is Irene Chang, and I've been with Cdtfa for 13 years, which I think speaks volume. A brief about myself. I graduated from Sac State, and I started with our agency right after I graduated, and I started as a business taxes representative, or BTR, as we briefly mentioned. I started in Oakland office, and now I'm actually a tax specialist in the San Jose office. So I actually got to experience moving up the career ladder, and I got to move around the Bay Area offices. So I'm going to have Carla introduce herself.
Yes, thank you, Irene. Hello, everybody. My name is Carla Ramos. I am a tax compliance specialist in sunny Santa Clarita. I started my career here with Cdtfa 1 year after graduating college. I tried the private industry and I didn't like it. I started as a business taxes representative. So I got to take advantage of some of the benefits that we spoke about earlier. So the promotion in place. So now I'm a tax compliance specialist, and I love my job. I love what I do. I learn something new every day. It's not boring. I really enjoy it. But it was nice because through the promotion in place program, I didn't have to interview. I was able to take the new position because I showed I possess the qualities, knowledge, skills, and abilities. So Irene is going to do a great job of going over the process, and please let us know if you guys have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. I totally agree. I learn something new every day, and it's always a wonderful challenge. And we also have amazing coworkers that can walk us through the way and things like that. So there's nothing to be afraid of. And so for this segment, I'm going to be going over the 3 easy steps on how to apply. And make sure you take a lot of notes because there's a lot of information, and Carla and I would try to keep engaging with the slides and the cool effects, but I'm not that quite tech savvy. So if there's any technical difficulties or the effects are delayed, rest assured it's probably user area, in other words, myself. So I think even my 8-year-old can probably do this a lot better than I can. So let's get started. So the 3 easy steps is first, we'll go over create your CalCareer account, how to complete the exams, and search and apply for jobs. So we're going to hop onto CalCareers page. You can go to jobs.ca.gov or calcareers.ca.gov. And we want to specifically point out to you this part. Ooh, that's cool. Create account, advanced job search, and assessment, and then exam and assessment search features. Did you guys see those boxes there? I hope you did. All right, now we're going to show you how to create your very own CalCareer account by clicking there. All right, so once you click on the create account option, you will need to put in your information just as you would on any application. Your CalCareer account will be utilized to participate in the exam process and to apply for jobs, because that's really important. Please make sure to write your login information and your password before you select create account so that you don't forget. Well, congratulations, you create your very own CalCareer account and your page will look like this. So double check to make sure your contact information is correct because we want to be able to contact you. Then we're going to move down to the application template, or the STD 678. This is pretty much your application to apply for jobs, and you only need to complete one application, but you do have an option to create multiple applications tailoring to different jobs, such as the call center, as Miriam shared, or even as an auditor, like Sam or Melissa or John, or up to 10 different application templates. You can also upload docs such as your school resumes or your school transcripts, your resumes, and other documentations. The thing that we want to point out to you here is the exam/assessments and to show you how to search for them. And of course, if you need assistance, you can watch tutorial videos. But you can also email us at recruitment@cdtfa.ca.gov. All right, so we're going to head over to search for the exam or assessments link. And then you can click on the box where I highlighted, and here we will show you a snap. We have a snap of the 2 positions that we're currently looking to fill, as Stephen mentioned, and the 2 jobs are the tax rep and the tax auditor. So Carla, which one do you think we should look at first?
Let's look at the business taxes representative.
That's the one you started with, right?
Yes, guilty as charged.
Me too. All right, let's go to the posting. Oh, there's a happy face. All right, so you get to this page. This is the tax rep, and then we'll show you where to go over to see the exam bulletin right there. All right, so the exam bulletin would look like this. Looks a little daunting enough, but don't worry. Just go through the information and make sure to read the details. And towards the bottom of the bulletin, you will see the section for taking the exam. Carla, how long do you think the exam will take?
I would say an hour to maybe an hour and 15 minutes.
All right, can I take a break?
I know it sounds scary, but it's really not. It's best to complete it in just one sitting. It's not so bad, guys. It's more of a self-assessment than an exam. It's going to ask you questions based on your knowledge, experience, skills, and abilities. So just hang in there. It's not too bad, I promise.
All right, sounds good. All right, so once you've completed exam or assessment, it's time for you to apply. So within your CalCareers page, on the menu option, select Job Applications. There it is, to search for jobs. And then here you can also see the applications you submitted and archived. Ta-da! That's pretty cool. You can search by the name of our department or the position, and our name is a mouthful. It's California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. And then once you find our department, which is what we recommend, click on Search Jobs. So your results will look something like this. I would like to specifically point out the location listed and the filing deadline on the job ad. So if you see the location listed as United States, that means the position is available for some
or most of our 20-ish offices in California. And as for the deadline, make sure to submit your application and supplemental documentation, such as your transcripts or your resumes, by this deadline. As Stephen mentioned earlier, the two positions we're promoting today are the tax rep and the tax auditor. And the final filing date is Tuesday, May 3rd, which is coming up soon. So it's very important to know. So make sure to complete these 3 steps by then to apply. And I think, Isaac, you mentioned to me there are other positions listed as well. Will you briefly speak on those?
Yeah, thank you so much, Irene. So my name is Isaac Obando. I'm the Recruitment and Outreach Manager. So yeah, we want to definitely highlight that obviously these are the job postings. Above the actual YouTube page on our live page, we actually have links to these job opportunities, in which we will also email everyone these job opportunities to make it as easy as possible for you to apply. But we do have several other business taxes representative positions in our Sacramento office. So make sure you're applying for the one that says United States, which offers you the opportunity to apply to any of our 22 offices in the entire state of California. You can still apply to the ones that say Sacramento, but today we're promoting these positions. So make sure you're meeting the final filing date, as well as attaching the required documents that Irene just brought up. Thank you, Irene.
Great. Thank you so much, Isaac. So remember to make sure to apply for the United States posting. And now we're going to head over to view the posting, so we can highlight some of the important details so that you can make sure to note of. All right, so when you get to this page for the business taxes representative, which is the position that Carla and I started, is pretty awesome. So make sure to read the entire posting so you know the details of the posting, and make sure that you provided the necessary documentation to apply. And as I mentioned previously, if the location listed is United States, the offices will be listed. If your office of choice is listed, make sure to complete the survey here to select your office of choice. And then go to the exam bulletin link for the tax rep or the tax auditor, and they'll give you more information about the position, and it would include the link for the exam. So on the bulletin, if you scroll down a little bit more, some of the details we want to point out to you are the minimum requirements, the additional documentation section, and the desirable qualifications. So make sure you view these sections so you can tailor your application and make sure you completed what is needed. Carla, is there anything else you want to point out here?
Yes, thank you, Irene. Let's look at the desirable qualifications and the duty statement. So the duty statement is one of the most critical components of this whole application process. It's actually a breakdown of the duties that you will perform in that position and the percentage of the time you'll be performing those duties. You want to identify what the job entails and really understand how you can tailor your work experience to match the duties you will perform in that position you're applying for. We recommend that you save it as a PDF and have it handy. You can even compare back and forth as you're completing the job application. Also, the desirable qualifications. You know, people are always asking us, what's a tip? You know, how do I get hired? What are they looking for? Well, here you go. With the desirable qualifications, it tells you what the supervisor and hiring unit will be looking for in the application. Look at those things and really tailor your experiences to demonstrate how you possess those qualities. Again, look at the keywords too. Thank you, Irene. Great question.
All right. Oh, okay. So, well, after you review the job app and you met the minimum requirements, make sure to complete the assessment and you're ready to apply. So make sure you have the current application, employment application, upload the school transcripts. It can be official or unofficial, but by the time you're offered the job, make sure you have completed all the necessary classes, especially if you're graduating this current semester. And then complete the office of choice. That's pretty cool, the wave. So remember, the exam is more of a self-assessment to allow us to learn more about your education, your experience, your abilities, and your knowledge. All right, so now we'll head back to the job posting so that we can select apply now on the job posting. I think we like arrows. All right, so it's going to bring you to this page to select I have eligibility. And after you take an assessment, then select apply for this job. If you have not taken the exam yet, don't worry. You can still select I want to attain eligibility, and it will bring you to exam bulletin to take the exam. So after you click on apply now, you can upload the specific template you want, or the one that you tailored, or you can create a blank one. But for this presentation, we're going to use a blank one. After you enter your information, you get to the education section. Make sure you've entered all the colleges and universities you attended so that we know you met the minimum requirements for this part. You can also list any licenses or certificates you have because you work so hard for them. You want to show them off. And if you already completed an application ahead of time, feel free to go back to double check all the information you have are updated. So in this experience section, enter all your job, internships, and even volunteer experience. Make sure to enter all the details of your experience, but most importantly, the duties performed. Carla, how can an applicant know their application is thorough enough?
Yes, thank you, Irene. So this takes you back to what we discussed about the desirable qualifications and the duty statement. This is where you want to make sure that you listed, everything correctly. So the job title, the company, dates, supervisor name, phone number, but most importantly, the duties performed. You want to treat every single one of those experiences as your opportunity to demonstrate how you possess the desired knowledge, skills, and abilities. We're going to go ahead and show you how on the next screen. Perfect. So this is an example of what it'll look like for you when you're filling out the basic information for your position. This is where you want to help your application really shine by tailoring your duties performed to the duty statement for the position you're applying to. Be detailed in the duties performed because hiring managers can't assume based on your job titles. So an example is I was a personal banker while I was going through college. I can't just put personal banker and assume that, I'll get credit for everything I've done. I really need to put details. So, I opened new bank accounts. I solved complex customer issues, made outgoing calls, sold banking products, etc. If you don't list it as a duty performed, the hiring manager can't assume and give you credit. So please, please, please do yourself a favor and give yourself credit. Don't limit your chances of getting an interview.
Those are some great tips. I think this page might need some arrows.
I do love those arrows.
All right, great advice. Definitely great advice. Now, the last step is reviewing your application package. You made it this far, so make sure you view the checklist, double check it, checking it twice, right? Make sure you got everything, and then view your employment application to make sure all your good information made it, and attach your school transcripts if you did not yet. And remember, your school transcript can be unofficial. And once you've got everything, select Save and Review Application to submit. And remember to apply before May 3rd. It's a Tuesday. And if you have any questions, email us at recruitment@cdtfa.ca.gov. And remember to complete the survey to tell us which office you want to work in. This is truly a great opportunity to get your foot in the door, and you get to select the office you want to work in. And now Carla has some great information to give you a sneak peek inside our agency. Take it away, Carla.
Thank you, Irene. That was a lot of information. Thank you so much. And don't worry, guys, we do have breakout sessions where we'll go through it in detail and answer any questions. So let's go ahead and go over the diversity and inclusion and some of the social media that we have. Okay, so I'm going to discuss our diversity and inclusion here at Cdtfa. So our mission and our goals are to promote and maintain a work environment free from discrimination, sexual harassment, and retaliation. We want you to be happy here, right? We want to attract a diverse workforce reflective of the people that we serve and the state's relevant labor force. We want it to represent California. We want to provide all employees and job applicants equal access to employment and upward mobility opportunities. So as we've discussed before, the upward mobility program. And we want to recruit prospective applicants to the special advantages and features that Cdtfa has to offer. Hence, this is why we do the open houses. Moving diversity forward, we develop recruitment pipeline programs to increase diversity and broaden our talent pool. In addition to the partnerships established by the Cdtfa and the Diversity and Inclusion Office, Cdtfa has partnered with the Greater Sacramento Urban League, Los Angeles Urban League, Sacramento Employment and Training Agency, Department of Rehabilitation, and Employment Development Department for recruitment opportunities. So we're really trying to spread the word with all avenues that we can. And then the Upward Mobility Program to provide new opportunities to our existing team members. Again, when you start out as a tax technician or an office technician, don't worry, that's not the end of your career. There's so much room for growth. So in 2019, the Upward Mobility Program policy was updated to include 5 additional eligible Upward Mobility Program classifications. We increased the reimbursement amounts up to $3,000 per fiscal year. That's money that you get back for the classes that you've taken, and brought a business law course through the Los Rios Community College. So there's lots of great opportunities to help you grow. We also have a diversity and inclusion committee. So this is great because every month we will celebrate a different heritage or one of the, the special months that we have. This month was actually for the Women's History Month. I believe it was last month. And we got to hear someone very interesting. Her name was Macy Tom, and she talked about how she broke through the glass ceiling as a woman in state service. So that was awesome. And that's just one small example of how we got to be a part of it. Now, this is just an example of a banner that we have and that we'll post throughout the office to celebrate the different heritage months. Irene, aren't you a part of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee? Can you tell us a little bit more about what it does?
Carla, I can't seem to hide from you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I am. I have been with the Diversity and Inclusion Committee for several years now, and it's truly a great way for us to get to know our coworkers, the one we work with, every day. And we get to know them beyond the work environment. So it's really awesome. And we get to plan events together, celebrate around the various cultures throughout the year. It's really fun to see the types of decorations and taste all the yummy foods around the world. So it's really, really good that we have this program.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Irene. You can count me in for next year. All right. So, in order to promote this happy, comfortable culture, we do have a lot of training and resources available for our staff. So one of those is LinkedIn Learning. There's over 112 courses and videos on LinkedIn on being fair and equitable, openness, and respect. So you have those resources literally at your fingertips. We also have mandatory courses that we have to take, like confronting bias, thriving across our differences. Besides the LinkedIn Learning, we also have the training and employee development section that offers different classes, some mandatory, some not. So some of those would be like building cultural awareness, conflict resolution, and one of my favorite, the emotional awareness and communication. Now, we know everything is now going towards online, right? Social media online. So here at Cdtfa, we don't want to get left behind. We have a presence in LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Handshake, and Instagram. Here are some of the examples of our pages. But I really want to zoom in and focus on the LinkedIn page. So our website is www.linkedin.com/company/CDTFA. It's here on the screen. On this page, you'll be able to find out more information about us and what we do, but you'll also be able to find all of the jobs that we're currently hiring for. So if you click on jobs on the left-hand side, it'll recommend some jobs for you based on what you've put on your profile. But you can also click See All Jobs here on the bottom right-hand side. When you click See All Jobs, you'll be able to see everything that we're hiring for within our agency. There are two ways that you can apply, or more like show your interest. So if you see it where it says easy apply, if you click there, you're going to be submitting your interest. You'll go ahead and enter your email, your phone number, and you'll upload a resume. Once you click submit application, it's going to send an email to one of the recruiters, and they're going to respond to you within 24 to 48 hours with more information about our agency and the job that you're looking for. When we do that, you'll actually get it through LinkedIn. So it's not going to go to your email address. It'll go to LinkedIn, the in-mail feature. So it's going to be the top right-hand corner in the little chat box. We could have used a circle there, Irene. There you go, a little arrow. But another way that you can apply, which is the actual application, would be to click apply. If you click apply, it's actually going to take you to the Cal Careers page, and you would follow the process that Irene went over. So if you know you're ready to go, just click apply now. We also have Handshake. This is how we attend the virtual career fairs. We schedule group sessions, or we have the one-on-one sessions with local recruiters. If you haven't attended them, I definitely recommend it, because that way you know when we're hiring and what we're, what's new with us. Just in 2022 spring, we've already attended over 50 career fairs. So that really shows you that we're a part of it and we want you to join. And you can join as alumni or students. So definitely keep an eye out. In conclusion, we want you to find your purpose with Cdtfa. Our goal is to hire the best and the brightest talent. Our commitment is to help our team members build fulfilling careers doing work that matters. And our aim is to be the employer of choice. We want you to join us. All right, thank you so much for listening to my presentation. And Andre, it's back to you.
Carla, Irene, what the two of you just did was fantastic. I know that you have taken some of the apprehension that people may feel, that the attendees may feel when it comes to applying for a state job, and you've lessened that apprehension. So thank you. You did yeoman's labor. Thank you for doing that. Now, we've come to a rather exciting part. We're going to pose questions to some of our team members. So let's get to those questions. First question up is for Isaac Abondo, who is our recruitment manager. I want to make sure I get the questions in their totality. So Isaac, if you can come on board, I'm going to read this question to you.
Yes, sir.
Question number 1. I have a BA degree and 3 years in unit finance with the state of California. However, I did not take 2 classes in accounting and a class in business law when I attended college. I was advised I will need to take these 3 classes to qualify for the business taxes representative. Is this correct? Or is there another path that I am unaware of?
Thank you, Andre. So that is a very, very great question, because the qualifications can become a little difficult in regards of understanding them. So for the business taxes representative, you need 2 professional level courses in elementary or intermediate accounting, 1 course in either business or commercial law, so one of those, and then 1 course in either econ, business, math, or English. So you need a total of, a total of 4 specific courses. In addition to those courses, if you automatically have a degree, and let's say if it's in accounting, you automatically qualify. But if that degree is in something else, in communications, political science, whatever the case may be, you automatically qualify for that. But don't be discouraged, because if you have those courses and don't have a degree, there are other different patterns that you could qualify for. Some of them are working with the state in specific classifications, and some of them are outside of the state in different roles and responsibilities. So please join our breakout session on Help, How Do I Apply? We go into a little bit more detail regarding those requirements for that specific position. So please join the breakout session of Help, How Do I Apply? We have 3 different breakout session times, so if you're not able to make one or the other, we have the other opportunity to join. But thank you, Andre. That was a great question.
Thank you for that detailed answer, Isaac. And it highlights the diversity of positions that we have available. So next question is to Sam, tax auditor. Sam, the question is this: being that the Cdtfa manages the sales tax for the state of California, does it also oversee and audit bigger businesses that work in California, such as Macy's?
Absolutely. The Cdtfa audits all retail, all retail businesses that deal with sales and use tax. So if a business in California is dealing with sales and use tax retail sales, we do also audit those companies as well.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that answer. Next question. Isaac, I'm coming back to you, my friend, with this next question. The question is regarding the job of tax business representative. I don't have a background in accounting. I have my bachelor's administration emphasis in human resources. Currently, I work for Employment Development Department as an employment program representative. I want to know what jobs does the Cdtfa have for individuals that are a business administration or that have a business administration background? Can I still apply for the position of business tax representative with the educational background and work experience that I have?
So if you don't have those specific accounting courses and don't meet qualifications for our business taxes representative or our tax auditors, our counterpart Miriam, who spoke a little earlier, we do have tax technicians where you can get your foot in the door and then work your way up, which many of our team members have done. As you can see, a lot of them have promoted. But we also do currently have staff services analyst positions available. Those are analytical general jobs in which if you have any degree, you actually automatically qualify for. But I did see that email come through the chat box, and we do have a human resources liaison within our IT department for our staff services analyst position. So we actually do have that available since your major and your concentration has that specific background. So what I can do is I'll pull your email and I'll also send it out to everyone else for those that don't have accounting background or degrees or things of that nature. So in our email to follow up this great event, I'll be sending those links to our staff services analyst, but you can also filter it on how Irene and Carla presented today and find that specific position, but we'll also email it out to everyone. So we do have additional opportunities that are available for those candidates who have a degree, but a degree that's not in finance, accounting, and things of that nature. So we do have plenty of opportunities.
Thank you, Isaac, for that answer. The next question that was sent in, I'm coming back to you, Sam. What are the required skill set you need to apply for tax auditor? Does it require, Sam, a degree?
So like Isaac stated previously, if you have a degree in accounting, you automatically qualify. If you don't have a degree in accounting, you have to have a certain amount of units and a certain amount of specific classes to qualify. And they'll be able to go over that in the breakout session, so they can actually show the transcript what class they have, and they'll be able to help them out in the breakout session.
Excellent. Thank you there, Sam. And you know what? I'm going to come back to you one more time. I love the answer so far. I'm coming right back to you. The next one is, I will be graduating this May with my bachelor's in accounting. I look forward to doing my CPA work. Am I eligible for this position?
Absolutely. Like I said previously, if you graduate with your bachelor's in accounting, you automatically qualify. And the beautiful thing too is if you're looking forward to doing your CPA, the state actually offers benefits to that. So if you once you start with the agency and you get your CPA while you're in the agency, you get a $3,600 bonus from the agency, and it's broken down over 3 years. So you get a $1,200 bonus over the next 3 years, and you actually get administrative time off to take the exams for your CPA, and you also get a $350 reimbursement for any books or study material that you buy for the CPA exam.
Thank you, Sam. I didn't even know that information, so greatly appreciate you filling us in on that.
No problem.
Next question in the chat room, I'm going to come to Miriam Dominguez. Miriam, could you tell us what the most effective way is to obtain the TT1 position? What are the requirements? Miriam.
There's a few things that go into this. Now, the first step would be to make sure you review the minimum requirements and make sure you actually qualify.
The majority of individuals usually will qualify by either meeting the minimum requirements of having the equivalent of a high school diploma or having 1 year of clerical experience. So those are the two most common ways that a lot of candidates qualify for this position. The next step, I would suggest reviewing the duty statement for the position before you submit your application. We have a lot of tax technician 1 positions throughout our agency, throughout Cdtfa, and it really depends on what department that tax technician 1 position is located in. We have tax technician 1s in field operations division. We also have tax technician 1 positions in the customer service center. For positions in the customer service center, our primary focus is customer service, assisting customers over the phone with our online services, so providing a lot of instructions over the phone. So after reviewing the duty statement, I would suggest making sure that you go through your application and make sure you list all relatable experience that relates to that specific duty statement or that position in that specific department. And make sure you do a second review, double check everything to make sure everything is correct, concise, and complete before submitting it. From there, if there could be a written exercise prior to an oral interview, that really varies amongst departments, but my biggest tip would be to always follow instructions. And when it comes to the oral interview, make sure to prepare beforehand. Try doing some mock interviews to try to relieve some of those nerves. And that really will help you to come into that interview portion feeling prepared. So,
anything else, Miriam? I interrupted you. I apologize. Anything else?
Oh, no, I hope that answers that question.
Thank you. And your answer was comprehensive. It was detailed. And I especially like the part where you brought up interview tips or mock interviews. Very good recommendation, which reminds me about the breakout sessions where one is entitled Interview Tips. So please tune in to the breakout sessions if you can. The next question, I'm going to bring it back to you, Isaac. I got this one for you. I'm a third-year student at Cal State University, East Bay. I still have 2 more semesters, and my major is in business administration with a concentration in human resources. If I apply for the BTP, would my application be considered since I do not have any tax background?
So I'm assuming the candidate meant business taxes representative. So once again, if you don't have the if you don't have the specific coursework, you will not qualify. But if you are obtaining your degree, like I mentioned before, we do have a few staff services analyst position. And since you're located in the Bay Area, we do have tax technician 1s in the field office, as well as plenty of positions available here in the Sacramento area. So if you want to consider those, get your feet in the door, then work your way up based on what you seek. That is more than welcome of the opportunity. Andre, I think we're done with the questions, but I think we're at the 1 o'clock mark as well.
Wonderful. So make sure all of you who've tuned in, please join the breakout sessions, much more interaction, and any questions that were raised as we walked through the virtual open house, particularly the application process, interview tips, those can be answered when we hear from you during the breakout sessions. All of that to say, thank you for joining us. This has been highly enjoyable, but more so, we hope this was extremely informative and fulfilling for all of you. We hope that you walk away understanding why the Cdtfa should be your employer of choice. We hope to have many of you join the team. Thank you to all of my team members for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us and relay your experiences and your journeys to this organization. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic weekend. Now, breakout session time. Y'all take care.